Harley Quinn is an extremely popular character in the DC universe, and her love life is often up for discussion or debate. Part of the fun of comics are the potentialities that exist for these characters, so of course people have their own ideas about who the best pairings are for each character. Shipping is a thing, and you've probably done it even without realizing it. It's often used as a pejorative by people who haven't bothered to actually dive into what it's really about or like. You can't judge a book by its cover or a barrel by its bad apples. I'm Sasha, and these are the top 10 superheroes Harley Quinn should hook up with. We're not sticking to in-universe either, so prepare for crossovers. Number 10. Rick Flag. Harley has come in and out of contact with Rick Flag, the de facto leader of the Suicide Squad, since she began to be considered as part of their ranks. An occurrence that crystallized in the full New 52, but it happened before, but mostly as a throwaway joke. This is how she was kicked out, as she tells the Riddler during Countdown. This is because she bossed a mission for them. Nowadays, it's not odd to see her as part of the roster, and in the beginning of the Rebirth Suicide Squad arc, she found herself hooking up with Rick Flag. Man, so many people on the team want to be with Rick, but since one of them is Deadshot and he's also been with Harley, maybe they can work something out. Rick is a more stable person than the type that Harley usually goes for, but he's also still involved in the high-stakes adrenaline lifestyle to which she's grown accustomed. So maybe she could start leaning more towards the side of good. I mean, if you consider the Suicide Squad good, that is. That's why they're so low. Most would still consider them to be villains. Number 9. Wonder Woman. This couple owes a lot of its popularity to the Harley's Little Black Book series, a series that saw Harley Quinn teaming up with all kinds of characters in the DC universe and enjoying zany madcap adventures with them. One such person was Diana, on whom New 52 Harley had a crush and was keen to prove her worth to. Prior to this, Diana and Harley had briefly actually had a decent relationship during Countdown, when Harley had reformed and was working with the Amazons. There's definitely a this would be hot factor here, from the women who ship it too. We're equal opportunity pervs. It's not just for men. Girls are thirsty too. Anyone has the opportunity to be thirsty. Diana makes Harley try to be better and strive to be more, while also ramping up the playful portion of her personality. And of course, the costume swap. Never forget the costume swap. Once Wonder Woman's film was released and well received, as was Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, even if Suicide Squad has earned a place as a film you're not supposed to like, you would begin to see crossover vids, which is a fun time. If you want to fall down a rabbit hole and end up in some weird places, that's definitely a good place to start. Number 8. The Winter Soldier. That sentiment brings us to this number. Crossovers can be a bit of a stretch for some people. They push the boundaries, and some like to not cross the streams. So you'll end up with a lot of, but they're different companies. That's impossible. Nay, inconceivable. However, for those who don't mind, or like operating more in the realm of fancy, oftentimes popular characters can find themselves paired together across company lines. The fervor has dimmed somewhat, but the mania surrounding Sebastian Stan post Captain America the Winter Soldier was very real, and it spread into fandom. Bucky became what is known as a fandom bicycle, or little black dress, meaning he was paired with pretty much everyone, and that includes Harley Quinn. Some feel that Harley's penchant for darkness, but also hope for normal life and to change a person, so this would be more classic Harley, not modern, zany, madcap Deadpool Harley, which was also a trait that classic Harley had, but it was tempered by others, but that her more nuanced traits would make her intrigued by and want to help Bucky. It's very much an in their own little world pairing, which people tend to gravitate towards, as with Harley, her canon ones lean that way as well. Number 7. Green Lantern. Once more, we're looking at Harley's Little Black Book, for an adventure wherein Harley gets a Red Lantern ring, and it's up to Hal to stop her before she causes too much mayhem. I just realized I should have specified which Green Lantern right at the start. Earth has so many, more than it needs. Hal is known as a bit of a ladies' man, and Harley is a notorious flirt as well, so when the two met up, it was hardly surprising that they ended up sharing a kiss. Although, Hal flew off when Harley copped a feel, to which I call shenanigans. Now, would these two work long term? Probably not, but would they have to? Or are we talking more, as the title suggests, hookup territory? Hang out when the other is in town. The two do seem like they would have fun together, although Harley does tend to cause a lot of havoc when interstellar and galactic activities are underway, so shipper beware. Number 6. Batgirl. Now this may seem like an odd one, also Barbara Gordon, gotta specify again, but these two have a decently long history. Now there were hints at Harley's sexuality since the animated series. Her relationship with Poison Ivy is heavily coded, and it began to be something that was joked about in other mediums such as comics. One person to ask about the rumors between her and Ivy was Batgirl, to which she replies, "Oh, like what they say about you and Supergirl." Well, why have the common pairings when you can get rare? Beyond that, when Harley entered the comics, some fans felt that these two shared a dark commonality vis-a-vis their encounters with the Joker. While of course with Harley it's a lot more complicated than what happened with Barbara, some were swayed by their interactions, particularly in Heroes in Crisis, wherein the two well and truly bonded over their trauma, and some felt it would be good for them to move on and heal together, while of course others feel that that would be very unhealthy. Just them together. Different strokes for different folks. Number 5. Green Arrow. You largely have the Injustice verse to thank for this, a world where with the Joker gone, Harley undergoes quite the transformation to genuine hero, although, well, still a little rough around the edges. But the Injustice verse is a rough world. While in canon she would end up becoming a good friend to both Green Arrow and Black Canary, as well as being a babysitter for them, but that sent some along the path of, well, what about Harley and Ollie? Add to that the wealth of clips you have to play with from the Arrowverse, and for those who like to piece their own worlds together, well, you have a paradise to live in. These two have the potential for a solid relationship, and Harley would be there for all of that, well, grandstanding that Ollie loves to do. She just ended up meshing with him very well, but in a non-codependent way, so you know, a potentially healthy relationship. Probably not like number 4. And at number 4, Jessica Jones. That's right, crossover city in the center of Imaginationville. Both Jessica and Harley have had it rough, but they also have overcome and moved beyond, changed but also more firmly certain of who they are. Well, they're both bomb ladies, and some people want to see them be bomb together. Now when the Riddler reformed, Harley helped him a couple of times, and she's teamed up with Batman more than once, so she has an affinity for the detective work. And who's a private detective? Jessica Jones. So yeah, reaching, but that's part of the fun. This is one you have to think about, but once you get there, there's a whole wealth of possibilities. Number 3. Nightwing. The canonical world started this, and now we all have to live with it. Nightwing and Harley are apparently creeping closer in age on that sliding time scale. How old is anyone in comics really though? Plus in your world you can make them whatever age you want. Fandom. Anyway, in Grayson, the Dick Grayson series where he was working as a secret agent, this was for Spiral, the two ended up sharing a kiss while he was undercover on a mission, and while apparently he has a very distinctive kiss because Harley is able to identify who he is later on because of said kiss. The two would also end up hooking up in Batman and Harley Quinn, an atonal lighthearted romp that some love and others well wish was something else. The scene where they hook up is polarizing. To some it's like, yum, hot, yes, while others feel it's, well, rapey, and that were the roles reversed, you wouldn't even be able to log on to Twitter, the tweets would be flying so fast. Still, there was a small bit of interest in this pairing before, and it has blossomed. So if you like Nightwing and Harley, come out of your corners. You are no longer alone. Join the others in the light. Number 2. Batman. Yep, both. But long before people were considering Harley and Nightwing, they were considering the ship Batquin. There's a really sweet TAS episode, Harley's Holiday, where she tries to reform and it all goes wrong. But at the end of the day, Batman brings her the dress she was trying to buy, and she gives him a peck on the cheek that turns into a full-blown kiss. And well, people started thinking, wouldn't that be an interesting twist? Batman has some sympathy for Harley, though it does vary. But in many ways, Harley would be a good match. She's as addicted to their activities as Bruce is, and while she's smart, capable of planning and deconstructing plans, and she's personable, she'd be a good foil for the more gruff Bruce. She would be fun for him. But there is also an element of kind of a Bat-Jokes innership for some, but this one has been flirted with canonically a few times, and it would be interesting. Number 1. Deadpool. It had to be Harleypool. If you're into the idea of shipping Harley, then this one is absolutely no surprise at all. Now there are many out there who feel that Harley and the Joker is just not the ideal pairing, but they like the idea of an anti-hero Harley leaning towards the villain side, and they can get behind how much fun she has being Harley Quinn. So they ended up being drawn to another crazy character, and one with whom Harley shared some traits, even more so now than at the start, and that is the merc with a mouth, Deadpool. Even the crossover element seemed less daunting, as Deadpool has expressed awareness of DC characters in the past. Fans feel these two would have the best time and not even have to think about it. Plus they'd be there for each other. Deadpool is a very caring partner, and Harley is looking to give someone all her love. Harleypool, one of the more fun and plausible crossover pairings out there. So those were 10 superheroes Harley Quinn should hook up with. Do you have any of your own favorite pairings out there? Are they with heroes or villains? Squiddler is one for me. Share all of yours down below. I'm Sasha, and thanks so much for watching Top 10 Nerd. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell notification so that you never miss a vid. We'll see you again soon. Bye bye.